Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into the world of startups, going past the usual hype to find out what building a company is really like.
Yeah, and we're using some great source material for this startup journey. Unfiltered founder wisdom. It's basically excerpts from chats between a mentor and a student founder. Really candid stuff.
Exactly. So our mission here is to pull up the key lessons, maybe some surprising truths for anyone who wants to understand what founders actually go through.
Right. We'll look at, the whole journey, coming up with the idea, building the team, actually doing the work, obsessing over users, and just staying resilient.
And one thing that jumps out right away from these sources is this core truth. Startups, they're not really about, clout or quick cash.
Not at all. It's described more like a decade-long roller coaster.
Yeah, thrilling, terrifying, and full of sleepless nights. That really paints a picture.
It does. The advice is pretty blunt. If you're just after Instagram likes, maybe bail now.
If you're genuinely obsessed with a problem, that won't let you go.
Then you're probably in the right place. That's the real starting point.
Okay, so let's start there then. The idea itself. There's always this debate, right? Are ideas worthless without execution, or does the idea kind of set the whole path?
It's a classic tension.
Yep.
What the sources suggest is that, well, ideas are the spark, definitely, but they're not the whole fire.
Okay.
But you do need a great spark. And here's the interesting part. Great ideas often look a bit niche, even nuts at first.
Like what kind of examples?
Well, think about Uber initially.
Yeah.
Just a button to summon a stranger's car. Kind of weird sounded back then, right?
Definitely.
Or Stripe online payments for developers. Well, that sounds maybe a bit boring or super specific, but both solve these deep pain points for certain groups, and that unlocks something huge.
So it's not just having an idea, it's the right kind of idea. And the advice seems to be build what you're obsessed with.
Exactly. And crucially, if you aren't your own power user, if you wouldn't use your own product constantly, that's a red flag. You're on shaky ground.
That makes sense. Your belief comes from really feeling the problem.
Right. And you need to be able to explain it clearly. The sources mention having a really punchy one-sentence summary.
Like the example they gave, instead of some long explanation.
Yeah, just something like, find local freelance gigs in a day. Simple, clear. You get it immediately.
Okay, so you've got this problem obsession, a clear pitch. What about the market itself?
Yes. This is critical. The mentor emphasizes you can pivot your product, but you can't pivot a bad market.
Wow, okay. That's a big statement.
It is. It means you have to pick a problem in a space that's actually growing. Otherwise, it's like fighting gravity from day one. You're just making everything harder.
So that deep belief in the idea, it comes from knowing the market, knowing the problem inside and out.
Precisely. It's not just blind faith. It's informed conviction. You understand the frustrations, the needs, the potential.
Right. So let's say you've got the problem, the obsession, the growing market. Now you need people, team. And we all hear the horror stories about co-founder drama.
Yeah, that's a big one. The sources frame co-founders as wartime allies. It's intense.
Wartime allies. Okay.
The advice is, pick people you genuinely trust in a foxhole. Someone you've maybe even worked with before, so you know how they handle pressure.
What qualities are key?
They need to be relentless, resourceful, able to just handle the stress. And really importantly, you need complementary skills.
Like a visionary and a builder.
Exactly. Or maybe a non-technical founder paired with a really fast coder. The Dropbox guys, Houston and Ferdowsi, are mentioned as a kind of yin-yang pair. One had the big picture, the other just built like crazy.
And how do you even know if someone's the right fit before you commit everything?
There's a great tip. Build something small together first, like a mini project. See how you actually work together under a bit of pressure.
Test the waters.
Yeah. And definitely never settle for a lukewarm co-founder. If it doesn't feel right, don't force it. It'll cause problems later.
Okay, makes sense. So you've got the idea, you've hopefully found your wartime allies. Now execution. How do you actually do it without, completely burning out? We hear about those 100-hour week.
Right. And the sources push back on that a bit. Execution is the game changer, no doubt. Great founders are described as velocity machines.
Velocity machines.
Yeah, they move fast, stay focused, and ruthlessly prioritize. But it's not about hours for the sake of hours. It's about impact.
So less about bragging rights, more about getting stuff done.
Exactly. The advice is ship something scrappy, fast, weeks, not months. Then test it, break it, fix it, iterate quickly.
And that idea of doing things that don't scale.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial early on.
Uh,
Paul Graham's concept,
Yeah.
like the Airbnb founders literally going door to door taking photos of listings.
right, or the Zappos founder answering customer service calls himself.
Yeah. Sounds crazy, maybe inefficient, but it's how you get your hands dirty. It's how you learn, really learn, what your first users actually want and need. That feedback is gold.
That directly leads to the next big theme, doesn't it? Talking to users. How do you make sure you're building something people will actually love, and what's the right way to get that feedback?
This is so important, and founders often get it wrong. The classic mistake is pitching your idea and then asking, do you like it?
Why is that wrong? Seems natural to ask.
Well, people often lie to be nice, or they just can't really visualize what you're describing, so their feedback isn't that useful.
Okay, so what should you do?
Be a detective. Don't pitch. Ask questions about their current life, their current problems. Things like, what's the absolute worst part of trying to solve this problem today?
Focus on their existing pain.
Exactly. Or, what's the last thing you tried to use for this that just didn't work? Get them talking about their struggles, their frustrations.
So it's less about validation, more about deep understanding. The sources say, listen hard, record everything.
Yes. Treat it like research, not a sales pitch. Really dig deep.
And who should you talk to?
The advice is 3 groups. Your early fans, the ones who already love what you're doing. Then users of your competitors' products. Find out what they like and hate.
Okay.
And maybe the most interesting group, people who should be your users based on the problem, but aren't. Why not? What's stopping them?
That's smart. Like the Slack example.
Yeah, they apparently spent months in users' offices just watching how they worked. That kind of deep immersion.
That's how it ends up feeling like it reads your mind.
Exactly. It's about making this user obsession part of the company culture, like at Intercom, where apparently every employee talks to users weekly. Founders stay in the trenches, answering support chats, doing Zoom calls.
Wow. It really sounds like a marathon, not a sprint. Constant learning, constant adaptation. What kind of mindset does that take to sustain?
Well, the sources point to this interesting mix. You need almost ironclad belief in your vision,
Okay, the conviction.
but also a paranoid eye for what could kill you. You're going to be constantly scanning the horizon for threats, for weaknesses.
So confident, but
Uh-huh.
also watchful.
Yeah. Great founders are described as learning machines. They soak up feedback, they pivot when the data tells them to, but they never lose sight of that North Star, the core problem they're solving.
Like the Canva story.
Yeah.
With all those investor rejections.
Exactly. Melanie Perkins apparently got 100 rejections from investors, but she kept tweaking her pitch, learning from the feedback, while staying absolutely true to her mission of democratizing design. That's resilience.
And that self-check question.
Is my idea still worth fighting for? Asking that daily. If that core obsession is still burning, you keep going.
Right. And eventually, for many, that fight involves fundraising. What's the advice there? It sounds like they caution against jumping in too early.
Very much so. The message is clear. Don't chase funding too soon. Instead, focus on building something so good, so compelling.
That investors beg to get in.
Precisely. Because ultimately, growth is your leverage. Real traction, real users, real revenue. That's what gives you power in those conversations.
So when the time is right for fundraising,
Then move fast, get terms in writing, and get back to building. Don't let it become this endless distraction. The focus always has to be the product and the users.
it really keeps coming back to that, doesn't it?
Stay obsessed, stay adaptable, and let your growth do the talking.
So for you listening, if you have an idea that just haunts you, that feels like it needs to exist, that's the spark.
That's it.
And the way to fuel it, based on everything we've heard, is with relentless focus, deep user love, and the grit to keep learning. Everything else, it's kind of just noise.
Well put.
So let's quickly recap the big takeaways from this deep dive. What are the core lessons?
I'd say start small, find that niche, stay obsessed with the problem, definitely talk to users constantly, and move fast. Execution velocity is key.
And always remember, growth is your proof.
Absolutely. And that central paradox we talked about.
Yeah.
You need that unwavering belief in your vision, but also this extreme adaptability, constantly checking in.
Asking yourself, is my idea still worth fighting for?
Exactly. It's a tough balance.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, something to maybe chew on. How could these principles, finding a deep obsession, validating it relentlessly with real feedback, adapting with grit, how could that apply beyond startups?
Hmm.
Like to any really challenging long-term project or goal you might be tackling in your own life? Something to think about.
Definitely.
Take these insights as unfiltered wisdom and go build something great, whether it's a company, a project, or just a better approach to a problem you care about. Go build something the world needs.